Hello, Tom LeVecchio here with the New Theory podcast, and I have two very, very special ladies with me today, JD and Winona Marie, who are running the Scarlet Black Survivor Domestic Abuse Group. They also co-founded the Inspirational Women in Literature Conference to assist young women in finding their path to success. These guys, ladies, if I will, have an empowering story. We're missing one of them. I will share her story as well. JD and Winona Marie, welcome to the show. How are you guys doing today?
Oh, doing okay.
All right.
Thank you for having us.
So did I have the correct intro?
Yes.
All right.
We went with 11 other wonderful ladies, so it's 13 of us in all, and most of us have been touched with a little bit of
tragedy in our life. A lot of it is through abuse, and we call ourselves the And I Thought Ladies. So the group is the And I Thought Ladies of all 13 writers. Okay. And we also call the 5 public faces the And I Thought Ladies.
Interesting. Okay. So, JD, let's start with you. Okay, I like to start with formative years to give a backdrop. Give us your formative years and kind of what made you today.
Well, so my formative years were great. I mean, my parents are amazing people. They raised me to be amazing. So hopefully I'm living up to their legacy. We're going to hook on that. And really, my tragedy started when I was 18. I had just turned 18 and I was going out with my friend. All my friends have always been super older than me, but that's okay. And so I went out with my friend and her fiance, and we were going to this party. And her fiance started talking sort of meaningly to my friend and looked at him, and I said, "We don't do that here. I mean, why would you say these words to her like that? Like, you can't do that." And then I found myself being dragged out of the car by my hair and punched in the face.
Whoa, wait a second. So wait, this was your boyfriend at the time or your fiance?
No, it's my friend's fiance.
Wait, your friend's fiance pulled you by your hair out of the car?
Yeah. I had like bald spots in the back of my head and busted lip, and yeah, he like attacked me for standing up for my friend. And little did I know that she was in an abusive relationship. I didn't know. You know, they seemed like a perfect couple. You would have no idea that this was literally happening behind the scenes.
So that was your introduction to that world, pretty much.
Right.
Okay.
That was that introduction.
Okay, then what happened?
And then I tried to be there for my friend. I tried to help her to get out of this relationship. But, you know, when someone has that abusive hold, they have that mental block, they don't understand what's really happening, or they have such low self-esteem. And so I just stood by my friend and tried to help her as much as possible.
And she stayed with the dude?
She did, but eventually she left, and that's the important part. That's what I like to dwell on, because I know that if I probably hadn't stayed beside her, she probably would be dead now.
All right. So, how old are you?
That lady never tell.
Okay, give us a range. Are you a millennial? Are you under 39?
Absolutely, I'm a millennial.
Okay, so you're a millennial. Okay. So the reason why I ask is because I come from an Italian-American family, right? And we grew up kind of old school, if you will. So kind of like domestic abuse, all that kind of stuff. When you think about it, you think of like the 50s, you know, kind of fucking white guy, slick back hair, wife beater shirt, like, you know, smacking his wife because the pasta was too fucking cold or whatever, right? I'm being generic, but I'm just saying, giving that kind of...
No, I absolutely understand. I mean,
yeah, a little color, right?
Funny, but that's hilarious.
Yeah, but like millennials, like a girl will ditch you for bringing home the wrong coffee one day. So like the face of domestic abuse or the tolerance level, would you agree has it changed, or is this shit still around?
I would agree that it has changed, but understand that this is what our group talks about a lot, that abuse takes a lot of forms. Financial abuse, someone taking your check, minimizing how much money you have, and unfortunately, our culture is very much money driven. If you can't get your hair done, you can't get your nails done, you can't get new shoes, can't do all this stuff.
Can't get gas for the car.
Can't get gas for the car. You start to feel bad about yourself, like I'm not worth anything. And so when that person tells you you're not worth anything, you start to believe it because I can't do what I used to do for myself. And then there comes the emotional abuse. And then here you go
That's
with
true.
emotional abuse, and someone's gaining power over you, and then it's going to go to physical abuse.
True. Okay. So, Nona, what's your story, literally?
Literally,
Yeah.
not metaphorically.
Exactly.
Okay, so I don't have her story. There was no physical abuse. Mine was an emotionally abusive relationship. I got involved and actually got married, and we stayed married for 6 years. And it was weird because when I got involved, I had a very high esteem for myself. I thought I was kind of intelligent, not bad looking, not great looking, but not bad. Okay, I thought I was great looking. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
People used to come up in the street and be like, "I didn't think I
you
had that much beauty."
You went to the gym like every day. You were great.
Yeah, I was great looking. But anyway, I got married to a guy, and he wasn't the best looking guy. But by the time 3 years were up, I don't think I thought of myself as anything worth of life. It was really bad. It was real.
By the way, how long did you date him for?
2 years.
Okay, so in retrospect, there was no red flags of verbal abuse along the way, or he pivoted after he put the ring on?
Well, I'm gonna sound like the generic lady. He was so very charming.
Yeah.
And then you think, oh, it's a bad day, or oh, it's a bad argument, or oh, it's a family problem. Oh, I'll just help you through this one, and I'll help you through the next one, and then you have that caring innate thing. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to make sure everything is okay. And yeah, I did that one after another, and the next thing I knew, I was like, I viewed him as someone to take care of. And he viewed me as someone to pretty much berate, and that's how that went.
Okay. Well, that was my question. How was his abuse manifested in the relationship?
Oh, I think my favorite saying that has always shocked everyone was, I remember the day he told me he wished he could go back in time and stab me through the heart with scissors when I was born, so I'd never ruin his life.
Jesus Christ. Damn. Okay. So bottom line is, JD was.
And that's a nice one. There are a lot meaner ones, but that's okay.
Okay. Oh, so you had the repetition of dating more than one abusive partner.
No, there's just that one. That's all I needed.
Okay, but there's a lot of
I married that one, so.
Got it. A lot of incidents. Okay. So with that said, so I want to paint this picture. So JD was on the periphery of an abusive relationship, and you were in the midst of an abusive relationship. How did you guys find each other?
Oh, we've always been really good friends, actually. Yeah. We've been really great friends, and it's been very interesting because I found that in my life, I have helped people escape their abusive relationships more often than not. And that's very interesting to me. I guess that's my calling.
It's kind of funny because there's a group of 5 public faces that really don't mind talking about this. Alexis Rose barely ever shows up. There's a lot of issues with that whole thing. But, and out of those 5, I think she's helped 3.
Okay. Now,
I have helped. And then I've helped other people. And it's very interesting how this happened to me when I was 18. And because it happened to me when I was 18, I think I'm more in tune to see those people.
Okay, because you pay more attention to it, maybe?
Maybe, I think so. And it's just like I see the pattern. And in fact, it was one of my good friends. I went to school with her. She graduated and also, and they got married. And it's actually a different friend. And then she was telling me, oh my goodness, he beats me, blah, 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 blah. And so I told her, okay, here's the plan. One day, if it gets to be too much, when her husband was at home, we knocked on doors, literally knocked on doors of her neighbors. And we said, hey, if she comes in the middle of the night to get the door, please just let her in and let her call me. And then I will come get her.
And what happened?
I'm here.
And what happened?
Yeah, she totally called me and I came and got her.
All right, so all right. So you guys, I mean, you guys went through some serious stuff, and then a third colleague of yours, a friend, also was had a pretty shitty experience. And if I read it, your publicist note correctly, she was sold into prostitution, arrested for fighting back, and escaping an abusive marriage, which led to your guys' group first book. Who is she and what, whoa, like what happened there?
Okay, it's two different people. I don't know why she runs a sentence together. We love Alexa. Anyway, so it goes like this. The one who was she was almost sold into prostitution. Her name would be Alexis Rose.
Okay.
Her husband had planned a family reunion, and she was like, "I'm going," and he had every intention of leaving her there with someone with I can't think of a good word for that.
He was going to try to sell her at that moment, at that
party. Yeah.
But fortunately for her, he got drunk one night, and when he gets drunk, he likes to tell truths, and so he told her, and she said, "Oh, it's time for me to leave."
Yeah, but I got a dumb question. So like, I'm married. I bring my then wife to a party. I say, hey, by the way, do you want to buy my wife? Like just out of curiosity, like what's the market value of that? Yeah, like how did that's like so. Like, is there like a title? Like, I'm sorry, like I can't. Like, I'm trying to wrap my head around that. I'm not trying to minimize it or make light of it. But like, how does that work?
I think that he had tried to contact some people that he might have known. I don't know, but she said that
he contacted people that he knew.
Got it.
And he wasn't always the nicest person in the world. So this is according to everything Alexis and what she's already told on other interviews. He contacted people that he knew, and he wasn't the nicest person in the world to begin with. So, he knew some folks, and the thing was that they were going to the party together, and he had already planned on leaving. He had bought the ticket to leave the same day, and he was just going to leave her. It was going to be in another state. It was about 4 states away. So, yeah, she was going to be stranded there with that lady, with that person.
Okay, so it's fair to say there's a group of you ladies, right? And although hopefully some of you experience no issues, but for the most part, what your binding nature is your past, and then how you guys got through it. So give us. Okay, so what did this produce? So you guys produce a book or a group, a podcast? So you have like all this great experience, and you're helping a lot of women, which is phenomenal. So what are you doing to get the word out there and help even more women?
Okay. So this is Winona, and I'm going to just go ahead and say we have 5 books. And I Thought Divorce Was Bad was our first one, and that deals a lot with abuse. And I Thought Being Grown Up Was Easy, and that's for 18 to 25-year-olds.
But no, so many other people
adore this book. And I Thought Being Grown Up Was Easy. It's just about how to go from high school to like walking down the aisle, everything you might want to know in between that, including how to feed yourself, like how to make bread in case you're that poor. Then we have, and I thought I did my journey alone, and that is just about how the 13 of us have looked back on life and been like, in our other books, and been like, oh my goodness, this is gorgeous and beautiful,
and we thought that we were literally by ourselves. You know how sometimes you have an experience, you're like, this is not common to the rest of the world, and then you find people that have similar experiences, and you recognize you are not alone, or that your friends were there all the time, waiting in the wings or helping you all along, and you were like, I didn't do it alone. So it's like our ode to everyone that's helped us, and even the other ladies in our group.
We also have, and I thought I could juggle it all. That's for business women. And my favorite one is the one me and Alexis wrote is, and I Thought I Had It All Figured Out, which is a script. In case Hollywood is listening, I got pilot episode number 1 for scripted television.
And what's the name of the last book again?
And I Thought I Had It All Figured Out.
And I Thought I Had It All. Okay. So you guys produce books. Did you self-publish? Did you get sponsored by a publishing house? How did you do that?
We self-publish. It's a lot quicker. Okay. And we also have a CD.
Yeah, so we we self-published, and we just thought it was a very good thing to get out there. And I thought Divorce Was Bad deals with a lot of heavy stuff. In fact, everyone said if I'm reading it and I had went through something in my life and I had to put it down and come back to it later because I thought I resolved these issues and I have not.
But you guys have a lot of books here. Is Untangled the same Alexis Rose?
No.
Okay, and then also Veteran Affairs based on a true story. Oh, that's
No.
Alexis Rose. Okay, so I'm going by your book. Okay, so you guys wrote some books, right?
Yeah,
I said 5 books, a CD, a podcast, a Roku TV, an internet radio show, and then an actual TV broadcast show.
Okay.
And a YouTube show.
The YouTube show.
So let's go through the different mediums. How many books, and I know it's not easy because it creates space and all that stuff, the 5 books in total, do you know ballpark how many you sold?
Nope. No, I have no idea.
I know that our last book hit the bestsellers list twice for Amazon.
Okay, but are you seeing like big checks or is more, because there's no money in books, you know? So like what I'm trying to get at is, okay, so you wrote some books, let's say you sold X amount of books, right? And then you have a podcast. Are you guys making any money doing this stuff, or it's more a labor of love with the goal of hopefully, going bigger or just keeping it, your mission to help women? Where does it fit in?
Absolutely, we do make money doing this. We do sell our books. People do buy our products. We have stuff, and people listen to us, and it's great, but we try to use it all. Not all the proceeds, but some of the proceeds we give back to charities that we love, like another charity that we love, Power Beginnings, is ran by Monica Thornton, and it really helps abused women get back on their feet. And we totally love her, and she does good, great work.
So with us having so many different mediums, we do have quite a few different income streams. So that works out really nice.
Yeah,
our money comes from books and products.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second, because though we talked a little bit about your journey and some of the bad stuff, it's appropriate because you guys are thought leaders about it, right? And you're monetizing your experience. That's what we discuss a lot on the show. Good, bad, or ugly, you guys are monetizing your experience. So give us maybe your percentage of revenue you guys make. How much from books, how much from products, and then how much from other stuff, maybe speaking fees and podcasts and stuff.
Well, from books, we actually make about 60% of our stuff comes from books. We get a few $1,000s every couple. Yeah, we make the majority of our money from books. And then we don't make from books, we make from selling flasks, because we have our own line of flask and shot glasses. So the best part about that is that the books are small change, so it takes a minute for those things to add up.
Yeah.
But it's great because when we go out and we speak and things, we sell flask and shot glasses a whole lot quicker.
Nice.
So that works a whole lot better.
Now
it's large songs.
Okay, now your radio show. Do you know how many listeners you have, or is that? Because I know it's tricky with podcasts, but do you know how many listeners you have each week on the radio or podcast?
I know that in the first month on Google Hangouts we had 27,000.
547.
Okay, we only knows the exact
in total that came to see our show. Since we've moved from Google Hangouts, I do know that 60% of our traffic is from males and from the United States, and that's a decent number, so I'm not mad. I like having 60%, and I know that 35% of our audience is in the UK, and it continues to grow. Now, for our television show, which is actually coming up on one of our 3rd biggest moneymakers right now, is because it gives us 153 people started watching us, and it's only been 3 weeks, so it's kind of cool. So they caught the premiere, and then they caught the 2nd show when we grew to double that size, and the 3rd show has been double the numbers of the 2nd show. So it's nice seeing the monetization of the show, because it's a little easier than, getting on the plane and flying somewhere and then talking.
We totally love to do that.
But we love doing that. Oh, my goodness, we love doing that. And then, kind of hoping for the best.
And how many girls in the group are the core group that get the checks, do it full time, and looking to grow your brand, which, let's be honest, out of misery, but turning, that misery into a positive life and empowering others. So how is it you two and the third? Like, how many women are in your the core group that are living off those checks, doing it full time, and part of the core group? How many ladies?
There's 5 of us, and I wanted to point out that most of the ladies that are the public faces, they do actually own their own businesses. Also, they are CEOs of their own companies, which is kind of awesome to me because I know where they came from. Those abusive relationships, that the heartache, that thing that would make someone just go down to the ground. And these people are strong, and they grew something new.
Which is
and as being CEOs, it works great. This is well known. It works great because when we get together, we have 5 business brains in the same spot to further the brand and talk about monetization. And we all know what we're doing.
No, you guys do. And so let me ask you this. So I'm assuming you relate to people that are currently in your shoes, or they're currently in your shoes now, or were. I'm sorry, they're currently in the shoes that you were in, and they need help. What advice do you give to somebody who's listening to this, who is in a verbally or physically abusive relationship? Everybody has a standard advice. Get out, and everybody gives the standard advice. What's the real advice on what to do when you're in an abusive relationship?
I'm going to give you the advice that Father Black gives. And so I'm quoting her. She's one of the 5 public faces. Make a plan. And then this is Jade's just advice. You are not what that person says you are.
This is Winona, and my advice is if you're in a financially abusive relationship, which is probably before the emotionally abusive relationship, the day you wake up is the day you should start planning. Don't sit around and think, well, maybe it could get better, or maybe I'm not seeing it right. I spent 3 extra years there for no good reason. None whatsoever. So the day you wake up is the day that you start making an economic plan to leave, because leaving is hard, and leaving with no income is harder.
Okay, because you know what, our website and our podcast is New Theory, and part of what New Theory is about is there's the old school, and then there's the new school, and then within the new school we're developing a new theory. And you know what, part of this new theory, and you kind of joggled my mind, I never really thought of financial abuse, and you really kind of touched on that. And that's an eye opener. What do you look out for? So let's just say you're with somebody who is treating you somewhat okay, maybe somewhat of a jerk, but it's palatable. But they're committing financial abuse. What are some clues or some indicators of financial abuse in your mind?
Okay. For me, I can only speak from my experience. It was a financial abuse first. Yeah, no, I'm going to go emotional first, financial second. But anyway.
It tends to go the other way.
It tends to go the other way, but I'm always odd like that. Anyway, so the first thing that with financial abuse was all of a sudden there was always new bills that needed my money, but I never saw them. I just like, oh, I just need a little extra. Okay. But he already knew how much money I was making. And so it was going to cut into this month, and then it was going to cut into the next month. And then it was like, oh, well, you live here too. You should take care of that. Okay, that's great. But you were taking care of it before, and you just picked up, more work. You can take care of it. And there's just slow things. And then after that, it's like, well, you can't even afford your own shoes. I mean, really, should you even have a say about what money you're getting? That sort of thing.
Got it.
And then all of a sudden, they just want to know everywhere you go, what are you buying? How much are you spending? Why are you spending it? Do you really need it? Because look at what you're doing with your money now. You're just wasting it on this, or wasting it on that, or wasting it on you. Right. You make you feel bad about what you're spending. Jade, go ahead and make this concise.
But the point is, a lot of times, if you don't see the bills, if you can't produce it, show the email. Ask the person for the email. Like, hey, okay, there was a bill. Can I have the email?
I'll send it in.
I'll send it in. Let me see the email. Let's sit down and make a monthly budget. If you do all of that with the person, and then they're still asking you for extra money, that's cutting into your whatever, whatever you spend money on, books, whatever you spend money on, and just keeps cutting and cutting, although you know all the bills. What's the reason for that? Why is this person trying to control your money?
All right. Now, obviously, there's some local resources, but if you suspect somebody's in an abusive relationship or yourself in an abusive relationship and you want to go online for resources, maybe you're not ready to go to the authorities, what are some resources other than yourselves do you recommend?
There should be some charities in your area.
There's a charity Always of Powerful Beginnings. If you happen to be hearing this and you're in London, Enough Abuse UK has wonderful ways to look at the signs. In fact, if you email her personally, she'll email you back. And they won't have like the big old logos of enough abuse. So just in case you want to make sure your abuser is looking at your emails or something like that. Also, if you're in the United States, you can call the rape line and also report abuse.
Nice. Okay, so I'm glad you were able to provide those resources. So before we conclude, tell us about your Europe trip. When's that, and what's the nature of it?
We leave in July 17th, and how many days is that? We got 10 days! Woo, 10 days! I'm sorry, I'm excited for you. And we're going over to do Talk About Abuse on the Fritzy B Show, the only mental health show in the UK. We'll be talking about the books, the clothing line, and the products. Yeah, with the shirts and the bags and the things that we have like that, with the cute sayings on it, like not the horrible abuse stuff. Like, and I thought being grown up was easy as a shot glass or a flask. So we'll be talking about that on Audio Radio Book, and then at Liverpool Live.
Okay, I believe Winona, if I could ask this question, I'd like to ask some pretty direct questions before we conclude. You're obviously taking something difficult, making positive at it, making positive change. I like the monetization of, right? I mean, so why shouldn't you profit from it? Not to mention, you're saying a positive message that will hopefully shape and help hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of lives. So, but with that being said, with your former abuser, are you, did he kind of come clean? Hey, I'm really sorry. I kind of realized what I did. Or are you guys not speaking? Or do you share a child? Where do you stand kind of currently with your former abuser?
I have not the faintest idea where he is, and I hope he never finds me ever again.
Okay. Did you have a child with him? Or?
No. I had to spend like a year and a half in hiding. So, yeah, I hope that never happens. It never finds me.
Wow. Okay. So, well, with that being said, ladies, you guys are brave. You're not only brave because what you went through, but you're brave because you're doing something about it. So hats off to that. Any parting thoughts before we conclude?
I guess our only parting thought is what we end all of our podcast, video, and everything with, is that wisdom is all around you.
You're open to finding it and accepting it. I'd like to say one thing. Y'all, watch us on Channel 18 at Sacramento, Just Right in Life, and then on Amazon.com. Last plug, I promise.
Love it. And I'll be sure to include your different press stuff, or at least links to your website so they can find out what else you guys done. And then more importantly, if they want to check out or buy something. Ladies, you're an inspiration. Thank you for being on the New Theory podcast.
Thank you
for having us.
All right, ladies, you guys are rock stars. Give me a day or two to get this up. I'll get it over to Alexa. And that was great. Yeah, and I really,
Really? Are you sure? Because that was abuse heavy. I was like, I haven't done an